In the opening of the story, we see a prison called the Shawshank Redemption. This is the strongest jail in the world. There are thousands of inmates in this jail, but no inmate has ever managed to escape from this jail because the security of this jail is extremely tight. There are also inmates in this jail who have spent their entire lives inside this jail, but they never even thought about escaping from this jail because the punishment for any inmate trying to escape from this jail is death. Now the scene cuts here, and we are shown a man named Andy in the courtroom, who is a banker of a very large bank in America. The judge sentences him to life imprisonment for the killing of his wife and her lover. But Andy says that I have not committed this crime. But Andy did not have any evidence to prove himself innocent, because of which the court judge sends Andy to the world's most secure jail, the Shawshank Redemption, for life imprisonment. There are many other inmates with Andy, and when these inmates are brought to the jail, then the old inmates inside the jail make a bet among themselves. Which of these new inmates will cry tonight? And for this, they place a bet on a box of cigarettes. They stand outside the line and point at each of the new inmates. Then an inmate named Red bets on Andy, because he believes that Andy is very gentle, and he belongs to a very wealthy family who has never faced hardship. That's why he thinks that Andy will cry first tonight. After this, all the inmates are taken inside the jail in a line, and every inmate is locked inside his cell. It becomes dark after some time, and then the old inmates start yelling at the new inmates, so that one of them gets frightened and begins crying. And this is exactly what happens. One of these new inmates starts crying and says that I want to go home. Then the guards arrive there and warn him to stop crying. But when that man does not stop crying, then the guards pull him out of the cell and beat him so badly that he becomes unconscious. On the other side, Red loses the bet on Andy, and Red realizes that Andy is very tough, because even being so scared, he did not make a single sound. So the next morning, Red gives a box of cigarettes to his friend, because the bet on Andy by Red had failed. Then we see Andy, who is quietly eating breakfast alone. Then Andy meets the oldest inmate of the jail, Brooks. Brooks is about to complete 50 years in this jail. Andy cleverly tries to learn all the small and big rules of this jail from Brooks, and tries to know about every inmate. Then Brooks tells every secret of the jail to Andy, and he tells Andy that if you want to order something from outside the jail, then go to the inmate named Red. As soon as Andy hears this, he does not delay, and he goes straight to Red, and says to Red that I have heard that you can arrange anything from outside. Then Red says that yes, I can arrange it, but such a thing does not help in escaping from here or killing anyone. Andy says to Red that I need a hammer. As soon as Red hears the word hammer, he says, why do you need a hammer? Are you planning to kill someone with a hammer? Then Andy says that no, I am not going to kill anyone. I have no enemy here. After hearing this, Red says that you do not have an enemy here, but very soon some people are going to be your enemies. He points toward a few men and warns Andy that their evil eye is on you, so stay away from them. The next day, on Andy's request, Red orders a hammer for him, and when Red sees the hammer, he starts laughing, because the hammer is very small in size, and Red thinks that it would take 600 years to make a hole in the jail using this hammer. After this, through Red and Brooks, the hammer reaches Andy's cell. Days pass like this, and one day when Andy is working in the laundry, then those three men who had an evil eye on Andy come there. They catch Andy. Andy tries to free himself from them, but he is not able to control the three men alone. That is why these three first beat Andy badly, and then they do wrong with Andy. This cycle continues like this. These people keep catching Andy again and again, and then they beat him and do wrong with him. 2 years pass in this manner, and then an announcement is made that some men are needed for roof repair work. Here a team of prisoners gets selected for the roof work, in which Andy and Red are also included. All these men begin their work together, and the responsibility of guarding them on the roof is given to a very strict security guard, whose name is Hadley. Hadley is a very cruel man, who beats prisoners severely for even small mistakes. When all the prisoners are working on the roof, Hadley suddenly becomes a little tense, and tells his fellow guards that my brother has just died, in whose account there are $30,000. Now my brother has no one in this world except me. That is why I have the right over his money. But the problem is that when I transfer these $30,000 into my account, then the government will take all of it as tax. While Hadley is talking to his companions, Andy quietly listens to the entire conversation. Andy, who is a very skilled banker, knows that this money cannot be taken without paying tax to the government. After this, Andy walks toward Hadley without fear, and says to him, do you trust your wife? Hearing this, Hadley becomes furious, and he grabs Andy and drags him to the edge of the roof. But before throwing him down, Andy tells him that if you trust your wife, and believe that she will never betray you, then you can easily transfer your brother's money into your wife's account, and that too without any tax, because there is a government rule that any person can gift his wife up to $60,000 in his lifetime, and no tax is charged on this money. Andy also says that if you hire a lawyer from outside, he will charge you a heavy fee, but I can do this work for you for free. Then Hadley asks, what do you want in return? To this Andy replies with a smile, I do not want anything. When your work is done, just give beer to all my friends. And the next day, all the prisoners are sitting on the roof and enjoying beer. That is, Andy does Hadley's work, but Andy himself does not drink beer. He sits quietly in a corner and feels happy watching everyone drink beer. Andy's companions are also very happy with him, because drinking beer in jail was almost impossible. But because of Andy, their wish got fulfilled. Then time passes, and the friendship between Andy and Red grows stronger. After a few days, all the prisoners are shown a film, and everyone is watching Rita Hayworth's movie. Then Andy goes to Red and says, "I want a large poster of Rita Hayworth." Andy asks Red for the poster, because Red was the only one in the entire jail who could order anything from outside. After this, Andy comes out, but as soon as he comes out, there are 3 men standing there who used to do wrong with Andy. They say to Andy, "Come with us." But this time Andy refuses. On Andy's refusal, they grab him and try to force him, but Andy fights back. But there are 3 of them. Because of this, they beat Andy very badly. But today these men cannot harm Andy in the same way. Still, they beat Andy so much that he has to be admitted to the hospital for a month. And the man who attacked Andy is put in the dungeon for a week. After a week, when he returns to his cell, there is the same officer, whom Andy had helped save $30,000 in tax. And someone had told this officer that this man had beaten Andy so badly that he had been in the hospital for a whole month. Now this officer severely beats that man, so badly that he becomes paralyzed forever. After a month, Andy returns to his cell from the hospital. Then he finds a large poster of Rita Hayworth in his cell, which is actually a gift from Red as a welcome. Days go by like this, and one day, the jail warden comes with a security guard to Andy's cell and searches his cell thoroughly. After checking everything, the warden finds nothing. Then the warden's eyes fall on the poster in front. The warden says, "I do not allow posters in cells, but you may keep it in your cell." Actually, the search was just an excuse. This officer had told the warden how Andy had saved $30,000 in tax. That is why the warden wanted to meet Andy for his own benefit. Andy has a Bible in his hand, which he takes with him, and he walks away a little, then comes back. And the Bible that Andy has in his hand, he returns and says that freedom lies within it. The next day, the warden calls Andy to his office and says that a clever man like you should not remain behind bars. That is why the warden appoints Andy as the assistant of the library. The same old man named Brooks is already in the library, who has been managing the library for many years. That is when the officer, for whom Andy had saved $30,000, he brings another officer to Andy. Actually, he had an IER problem, which Andy solves in a few minutes. Because of this, Andy's reputation begins to spread throughout the entire jail. As years pass, Andy's responsibilities continue to grow. Because of this, Andy needs an assistant, and he appoints his best friend, Red, as his assistant. One day in the library, Brooks places a knife around the neck of a prisoner and threatens to kill him without any reason. Actually, the government had pardoned this man's punishment, but he does not want to leave this jail. He has spent 50 years inside this jail. His entire life has been spent within these walls, and he has completely forgotten what the outside world is like. This jail has become his real world, and he thinks that if he kills someone, his punishment will increase, and he will be kept in this jail for longer. On Andy's advice, Brooks releases the man on whose neck he had placed the knife. Now, unwillingly, when Brooks leaves the jail, he finds the outside world very strange. In 50 years, the pace of life outside has changed drastically. Where once there was one car on the road, now there are crowds of cars everywhere. After a few days, he starts working at a supermarket, but he does not enjoy the outside world at all. He constantly misses the jail, and he wants to return to the jail. That is why he sometimes considers committing a crime so that he can be sent back. But Brooks does not want to commit any crime at his age. And in this fast-paced, crowded life, Brooks is unable to cope and eventually gives up on life. Before dying, he writes a letter to his friends in the jail. Everyone becomes deeply emotional while reading it. Then we see the jail again, where the warden starts a new program. In this program, prisoners are taken outside to work so that they learn how to earn money through hard work. And the prisoners agree to this work because they all want to breathe fresh outside air. And this is how the warden manages the prisoners. But through this program, the warden earns many contracts because the labor of the prisoners is extremely cheap, and the local construction workers outside cannot find work anywhere because the warden makes them work with his prisoners at half the price. And the warden works at half the price because he does not have to pay wages to prisoners. That is why the warden earns a lot of money by using the prisoners' free labor. And this money is considered black money. But because Andy is a skilled banker, he converts all the warden's black money into white. Actually, Andy deposits this money in the name of a man who does not exist, and he transfers all the money to his account so that if the police investigate in the future, they will search for a person who was never born. Now, a new prisoner arrives at the jail named Tommy. Tommy is very young, and he has already been in many jails at this young age. Tommy has a very friendly nature. That is why he soon makes friends with many prisoners in the jail. One day at the dinner table, Tommy tells everyone that I have been stealing for many years. That is why I have been in so many jails. And this time too, I ended up in this jail. Listening to Tommy, Andy tells him that if you keep getting caught repeatedly, it means this work does not suit you. That is why you should stop stealing. Tommy thinks this advice is absolutely correct. That is why Tommy starts gathering information about Andy from Red. Tommy asks Red that Andy is a very intelligent and decent man. Why did he end up in jail? Red tells him that Andy was a very big banker, but he was accused of killing his wife and her lover. That's why he was imprisoned for life. Hearing this, Tommy starts thinking deeply. As soon as he remembers something, he calls Andy. Now Andy and Red are in front of Tommy. Tommy tells them that 4 years ago, I went to a jail where I met a prisoner, and that prisoner told me that one night he went to steal from a house. During the theft, the owner of the house woke up. Now, fearing being caught, he killed the owner and his wife. Later, he found out that they were not husband and wife, but lovers, and that woman was the wife of a very big banker. After some time, when I read the newspaper, I learned that when the police investigated these two murders, they suspected the banker of killing them both. That is how the banker was arrested for the murder of his wife and her lover. Here we finally know that Andy was innocent. After learning all this, Andy goes to the warden and explains everything to him. But the warden deliberately refuses to believe him, because Andy is the man who turns the warden's black money into white and knows all his secrets. So if Andy leaves here, the warden would lose money, and possibly his black money secrets would be revealed. That is why he tells Andy that this is a false story. I hear stories like this every day. Andy promises the warden that even if I am freed, I will keep your secrets safe. But the warden does not listen to Andy. Seeing this, Andy becomes very angry, thinking that I helped this man so much. But now, despite being innocent, he refuses to let me go. That is why Andy shouts at the warden. Then the warden puts Andy in a dark cell for a month. Later, he goes straight to Tommy and asks him if the things he told Andy are true. Tommy says yes, it is all absolutely true. After this, the warden tells Tommy that if he is called to court, he can testify there. Tommy says, yes, I am ready for this. Hearing this, the warden signals a guard, and the guard shoots Tommy. After this, the warden goes to Andy and says that Tommy tried to escape, so he was shot. But Andy understands why Tommy was killed and realizes that the warden is a very cruel man. Andy tells the warden that from now on, I will never do your work again. Then the warden replies that you will have to do my work. Otherwise, I will make this jail a living hell for you. On the way, the warden orders the guard to keep Andy in a dark cell for another month. The dark cell is a terrifying place where a prisoner has to stay for an entire month in total darkness. Andy had already spent a month in the dark cell, but now he must endure another month in the same small, dark room. News spreads across the jail that Andy is being punished for a crime he never committed. All the prisoners are deeply saddened for Andy. After spending 2 months in the dark cell, when Andy comes out, Red comes to him. Andy asks Red, will you ever be able to get out of this jail? Red replies, yes, but only when I am very old and my mind no longer works. Andy says, I will leave here and go to Mexico. There is a very beautiful place. It is said that a person loses himself there. I will open a restaurant there. I will repair my ship by the seaside, and there I will need a handyman to bring things from outside. Actually, he is pointing at Red. Red hears this and says that hope is a very dangerous thing. It drives a person crazy. You will have to return to the world of reality. Mexico is very far from here. Saying this, Red starts to leave. But before leaving, Andy tells Red to promise that if you ever get out, you will do one thing for me. Red says, yes, I will definitely do it. Then Andy gives Red an address and says that whenever you get out, go to the place where there is a beautiful tree in the middle of a large field. I propose to my wife under that tree. He tells Red that under that tree, you will find a black stone under which I have hidden a box. And whenever you get out, go there and see what is in that box. Saying this, Andy leaves and goes straight to the warden. He completes the warden's work and keeps all his documents in a special safe. After storing the documents, the warden gives his clothes to Andy. He tells Andy to press his clothes and polish his shoes until they shine like a mirror. After this, Andy returns to his cell. Meanwhile, Red is very upset tonight because he fears that Andy might have tried to kill himself somewhere. The night passes like this, and morning comes. As soon as it is morning, the doors of all the prisoners' cells open, and all the prisoners come out. But Andy does not come out of his cell. This is the first time in 20 years that no prisoner came out of his cell in the morning. Then Red's eyes turn toward Andy's cell, and Red becomes increasingly worried that Andy might have killed himself somewhere. Then a guard angrily goes to Andy's cell, but when he reaches there, he sees the eyes remain open because the cell is empty, and Andy has escaped. Now we see the warden, who takes out his shoes to wear, but in the box, not his shoes but Andy's old shoes are there. Then a siren starts ringing throughout the jail, signaling a prisoner's escape. The warden rushes to Andy's cell, where he sees that Andy is gone. After this, he orders the guard to call Red, because Red always stayed close to Andy. Red is called, and the warden asks him where Andy is. Red says, I don't know. The warden becomes furious. He shouts, was he a ghost who disappeared from here last night? In anger, the warden picks up stones lying around and starts throwing them at the guards and Red. He even throws a stone at the poster on the wall, but the stone does not fall. It passes through the poster. When the warden puts his hand in the hole, he discovers a huge tunnel that Andy had made, which shocks everyone. This wall was extremely strong. It was almost impossible to make a tunnel, but Andy did the impossible and escaped. After this, all the guards rush to the place from where Andy came out. There they find Andy's old clothes and the hammer Andy had ordered from Red 20 years ago. This is the same hammer Andy had used to dig the tunnel in his cell wall over 20 years. For 20 years, Andy worked so meticulously that no one ever knew. Also, the soil he removed was kept in his pockets and scattered on the ground. The last time Andy worked for the warden, he kept all documents of the warden's black money with him and cleverly placed the Bible in front of the warden, making it appear air as if these were not documents but the Bible. Andy first wears the warden's clothes, then puts on his old clothes on top and the shoes the warden gave him to polish. Andy wears everything and leaves. As soon as night falls, Andy emerges from the tunnel in his cell. After this, he breaks a gutter pipe and escapes through it, running along the thin pipe, which no one had ever managed before. The gutter pipe is about 2 kilometers long. The next morning, Andy goes to the bank where all the warden's black money is kept. This money is under the name of a man who does not exist. All the documents were prepared by Andy, and he forged the account owner's signature from jail. Therefore, withdrawing the warden's money is not difficult. Andy has all the documents, so he goes to the bank and withdraws all the warden's money. This amounts to $370,000. This means Andy is not only free, but also has the warden's money. From the day Andy entered the jail, he had planned this. The warden treated Andy very cruelly and killed Tommy, so Andy exposes all the warden's black money to the media. The next morning, the news is published. When the warden opens the safe, he finds the Bible, not the documents. On the first page of the Bible, Andy writes that you were right. Salvation is in this. When the warden turns the page, he sees a mark of a hammer. Andy had carved the pages into a hammer shape and made a frame to hide his hammer. 20 years ago, when the warden first took Andy's Bible and returned it, the hammer was already inside. Seeing this, the warden is shocked. Meanwhile, the news of the warden's black money spreads throughout the city. Reporters and police arrive to arrest him, and before the police can act, the warden shoots himself. After some time, Andy's friend Red's punishment is forgiven, and he is given a government job. But in the outside world, Red struggles because he spent 40 years in jail. Red lives in the same room Brooks had lived in, and he feels life is empty. But he remembers his promise to Andy. Then he leaves in a car and goes to the field with a huge tree. There is a wall of stones and a black stone on it. When he lifts the stone, he finds a box underneath with some money and a letter. The letter is from Andy, stating that Andy is waiting for Red at the same place Andy told him in jail. It says, "Hope is a good thing." Red reaches that place, and at the seaside, he sees Andy fixing his boat. This is the dream Andy shared with Red in jail, which Red had doubted. They hug each other, and this is where the story ends. If you liked this video, then subscribe to our channel and like the video.